Joining me now is the Democratic Representative Stacey Plaskett of the United States Virgin Islands. She serves on the House Ways and Means Committee and was an impeachment manager for the ex-president's second trial. Thank you for being with us, Congresswoman Plaskett. Again, I always turn to you because you did the job in the impeachment of laying out what was happening in real time. And all of this information that you're getting, including the McCarthy conversations with Donald Trump, they all add meat to the framework, the skeleton that you built. How does this, is there new information that you're getting, or does this all, as Jamie Raskin told me last night, sort of reinforce the narrative that you had already figured out?
It really does add more flesh onto the body of what we did. I think we really laid the foundation and gave the framework, the skeleton, and some of the sinew. But I think what we're seeing now is the real parts, the inner parts of what was happening in the minds of individuals, such as Donald Trump, such as Kevin McCarthy. I mean, remember, we had a huge discussion with the Republican side about whether or not to bring in the statement of Herrera Butler, who stated that McCarthy told her that Donald Trump bared responsibility, and the conversation he had with Donald Trump. And this committee has gone to great lengths with tremendous staff to make sure that we have all of the details that we only knew as a shadow. It was a shadow before, and now it's coming to light.
One of the more interesting things about this in a New York Times article was how Mark Meadows was warned that January 6th could turn violent. This is testimony as well that the January 6th committee has heard. Mark Meadows, the final chief of staff for President Donald J. Trump, was told that plans to try to overturn the 2020 election using so-called alternate electors were not legally sound, and the events of January 6th could turn violent, but he pushed forward with a rally anyway, the House committee investigating the Capitol attack alleged in a Friday night court filing. That was last night. This is an important development because it separates the argument that some in Donald Trump's circle make to say, we didn't like the election results, but we weren't looking for a coup or an insurrection. This little bit of information changes that.
It does. And it shows that within the inner circle of Donald Trump, they were keenly aware of what would happen. As I'm sure you recall, Ali, during the testimony, the presentation that I gave, I shared that the president himself changed the parameters of the permit, which was originally just to stay in one area. He was the one who changed the permit to bring it to the Capitol, knowing at the time that those individuals who were involved in the planning, involved in bringing people, had been violent within the last month. And so the recognition that there was going to be violence was not anything that was outside of the realm of possibility, under legal parameters. I mean, it was, beyond a reasonable doubt that violence was going to occur when you give the speeches that the president gave, along with the parameters of the permit and the parties that were involved in it. That had to move forward.
So I will never forget the presentation you made during the impeachment, and I recommend to people, if they've got some time, to watch that back, because you interpreted all the various things that we knew, the news reports, the video, the individual video. You had graphics and pictures, 3D pictures of the Capitol. It was very compelling. Jamie Raskin says the public testimony in June is going to blow the roof off. Will that move public opinion on the matter? Because there are still a whole lot of people who maybe don't like Donald Trump, don't like what happened on January 6th, but they see it in the rearview mirror as an aberration, an anomaly, and that we need to move on.
I'm hopeful that the American people, when they saw how involved the president was in knowing that there was going to be violence and actually attempting to overthrow a democracy, right, by staging a coup with his military advisors. When that evidence comes, I'm hopeful that it will awaken many people who have not wanted to be awake as to what's happening. But at the same time, I'm hopeful that the American people will recognize recognize that many of my Republican colleagues, most of them, are cognizant of this as well, and that they deem their leadership and their power and their positions more important than they do the American people. We've seen this in their tax scam, ready to give money to the rich and take it away from middle class and average Americans, to overthrowing a government if it means that they can stay in office. They're much more concerned with themselves than they are with everyday Americans.
Democratic Representative Stacey Plaskett of the U.S. Virgin Islands, we always appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us this morning.